Hey there, comic book fans. I'm back from another week at the comic shop. I got to go early today, actually on a Wednesday, and picked up 8 comics. Nothing off the rack, just the 8 that were in my pull list, so I guess I got things under control for now. But I wanted to start this out with a little announcement to let you guys know that you can hear me on a podcast that came out this week. My friends and fellow cartoonists, Gregg Schigiel and Giarrusso, do a podcast called, what is it called? CRUISIN together? It's a podcast where they humorously are going through all the Tom Cruise movies. I'll leave a link below for you to find it, but Gregg and I used to work in the offices of Marvel Comics back in the 90s, so you can hear us tell stories about that a little bit and talk about Tom Cruise movie Cocktail, which is the one I picked to talk about because it's my favorite Tom Cruise movie for its sheer goofiness. And also, Greg does another podcast that's kind of interesting called Stuff Said, where he interviews people in the comics industry. And the last one, he interviewed Robert Kirkman. I think it came out a couple weeks ago. I just listened to it this past weekend. And I found I listened to all his Stuff Said podcasts, but this one, I'd never heard Robert Kirkman speak before. And it was a really interesting podcast. He's talking about his comics career. And he also had you've heard me complain about prices of comics. He had an interesting thing to say about the prices of Marvel and DC comics amongst the long interview he did. But anyway, I'll leave links below for both of those, and you should check them out. Now let's get on with the comics. First, we have Satellite Sam. Issue number 13, Matt Fraction and Howard Chaykin. Though you could swear these were written by Chaykin. I mean, they've kind of got a very Chaykin-esque feel. Story of the early days of television. Sex, duplicity, murder, all while trying to get a network up and running. I've been enjoying Howard Chaykin's work lately. I kind of jumped off the Chaykin train for about 20 years. But now I'm back on. I liked his Black Kiss too, and now I'm enjoying Satellite Sam. And here we have Deadly Class number 12. I must have got an alternate cover, because that's not Wes Craig. Nice cover, though. Excellent book about a high school full of deadly kids and their even deadlier parents who are nothing but trouble. I really like Wes Craig's art. He does some great storytelling. Let me make sure I got his name right. It is Wes Craig, right? Let's see. Wes Craig, cover A. What is it? Jerome Opeña and Dono Sanchez Almara. They did this cover. This is a Jerome Opeña cover, I guess. But yeah, Wes Craig, excellent artist. Rick Remender writing it. Lowridge on the colors. Deadly Class is a A+ comic from top to bottom. You should be checking this one out. Now here comes The Empty, number 3. That's another nice cover. I don't think I looked at these covers in the store. I was so busy gabbing with a friend and some other people at the shop that never actually looked at my comics. Just got them off the pull list and then was talking comics and stuff the rest of the time. I've been enjoying The Empty a whole lot. Story about a strange world where there's strange creatures on a strange quest. We get the long-necked people and the long-armed people and the teaming up with the puppy lizard guy, all to figure out why their world is dying. The long-necked people have big eyes, too. I don't think a lot of people jumped on this one. I can't remember who it was. I saw only one other person on YouTube who picked up issue 2, I think. But I'm enjoying it thoroughly, and I'm going to keep on with The Empty. And next comes Lazarus, number 16, Greg Rucka, Michael Lark. Michael Lark with Tyler Boss. Okay. Artifact pages by, oh, artifact pages, whatever they are. We'll have to see. Well, they must be the artifact pages right there. It's a journal. More artifact pages. Lazarus has been a book full of lots of political intrigue and such things. Last issue was a climactic battle between two of the characters. Well, more like a sword fight. You wouldn't really call it a battle. It was quite polite for all the political implications it held. It was quite a polite little sword fight, even though it could have been a deadly one. But Lazarus is a fun book. A dystopian future where different families run the United States, and they are all in competition with each other to see who can, I don't know, gather the most money and power. So thoroughly enjoying Lazarus. It's been good since the beginning, and it continues to be good. And here comes Manifest Destiny, the story of Lewis and Clark, number 14. Traveling across the country and under President Jefferson's orders to see what's out there. And they, of course, run into monsters. I actually was when this book first came out, I wasn't sure if I would like it or not. Some beautiful artwork. Only because I'm a history fan, and I've actually, I've read at least one book on Lewis and Clark, the real Lewis and Clark. And the author was like, we don't know the first thing about Lewis and Clark. And I was like, oh, that doesn't sound good for a history fan like me, but this isn't history in any way, shape, or form. Ugh! Sorry, bloody sores. But it's a good story. I mean, it's, besides the fact that they're named Lewis and Clark, it's completely a fantasy universe, being that they run into monsters and creatures and strange things, and some local tribes who are very used to the monsters and strange things that they're not used to, and stay away from them, unlike the crazy explorers. But like it ended up being nothing like I thought it would be, and a good story. So check out Manifest Destiny. And next we have Dean Motter's Mr. X. If you like a comic with a lot of words in it, look at this, and I open up to the page with no words on it. Last issue was very text heavy. Good stuff though. There we go. There's some more. Well, there's a lot of words. And I don't say a lot of words is good or bad. It just is. You can have a good comic with a lot of words, or you can have a bad comic with a lot of words. Same with few words. But Mr. X can get balloon heavy. But it's an interesting little comic. Mr. X is kind of, I don't know how many new readers are jumping on to Mr. X, because it's kind of a strange little comic. About a guy who is trying to get the city makes everyone sick. There's Mr. X right there, the bald guy with the glasses. The city makes everybody sick, and he's trying to fix the architecture to make them less sick, but he doesn't really do a lot of architecture fixing. There's a lot of political stuff and murder and I think in they had a Christmas story in the first issue, and strange little things go on. There's little story. For having such a big premise, it has a lot of small personal stories too. So it's an odd book, but it's one I've been reading since the 80s, and I still enjoy it. Now we come to Mind Management number 32, the final arc. I gotta say, I picked this up, and it's extra thin. That kind of annoyed me. I don't know if it has any less story pages, but it's a 24-page... Mind Management was never this thin. This is a 24-page comic, and I just looked at the page numbers, and I'm guessing it was a 32-page comic before this. Still the same $3.99 price. I mean, Mind Management is one of my top 7 comics I think I wrote a blog about recently. When I tried to figure out my top 5 and came up with a top 7. And this is near that. I mean, I just love this book, but why is this issue so thin? That's weird. Mind Management continues. The story's winding down. Maru, our hero, has gotten confident in herself and is now going to take down whoever is, I forget the woman's name, who's trying to put together Mind Management. Maru is going to make sure she doesn't. But good book from top to bottom. Excellent stuff. Pick up the trades if you can. Jump on board for the last arc if you want to. Love Mind Management. And here we go with Velvet number 10. Wow, between Mind Management, Deadly Class, and Velvet, I think those are 3 of my favorite comics that are out in 1 week. I don't know if they ever came out in 1 week before. Beautiful Steve Epting, right? This one's Steve Epting. The other one was Michael Lark. Yeah, Steve Epting, Ed Brubaker, Elizabeth Breitweiser, Chris Eliopoulos, and Drew Gill on production. I'll announce him just because that's the job I used to do at Marvel. This is beautiful stuff. I mean, the story is excellent. The artwork is gorgeous. The first trade / story was kind of your standard betrayed spy stuff. If you pick up the first volume and go, I've kind of seen this before, it's nice. But with the second volume, they've gotten deeper into the story, and it's gotten just better and better. So I can't say enough good things about Velvet. It's an excellent comic. 2 more quick things I got this week. This nice Bloodshot bag they came in. And it also, in the Bloodshot bag, came with this Avengers Magazine, which was free. I guess they're hyping up the movie, and they put out a magazine. Wow. A free magazine. Basically an ad for all the Avengers stuff. Well, they got some interviews. I didn't really look through it that much. So it's sort of a little Marvel Universe-y, who these characters are. And a little interview. Avengers, I think, where's the interview? Jack Kirby's Avengers. Oh, it's a little article on Jack Kirby's. I think I saw an interview with one of the old Avengers writers in it. I mean, from the 70s. Kev Walker sketchbook. Stefano Caselli sketchbook. So an interesting little thing, the Avengers Magazine. That came out this week. And finally, we'll give you a look at my backgrounds this week. There's 2 drawings I did. This one is one of I make comic book, I call them comic covers to comics that never existed. This is On the Borders of the Fantastic. I don't know, I think of this guy as kind of a cat burglar in a strange sci-fi city. When's this one from? 4/30/13, so it's a couple years old. This month. That, like I said, that one, maybe I'll color. I don't always color I didn't color that one at all. But and I don't always. Sometimes I print out I did all this trade dress work and logo on the computer, and then printed it out onto this Bristol board so that it would be right on the board. Because I like the way that looked sometimes. When I'm making a sort of comic book cover looking piece, I want it to look like a comic book cover. So, and then this one, I think this is just a drawing I made for print. Though I actually think I'm going to use this in something else that I've been working on. Just one of my strange little surrealist pieces that I got going on. Alright, so those are the 2 pieces for this week. If you got any questions about them, you can just ask me. Until then, we'll catch you later.